camera. Yes, video. Variety pack, I think. Yeah, a few videos to comment on. Alright, first, I guess I'll post links. Maybe they're down there now because of the new format or whatever. First was this guy suggested I go view his video. It's interesting. Artificial consciousness. Not intelligence, but artificial consciousness. And he seemed to think that somehow I suggested that computers would simulate consciousness, and I never, no. I don't think you'll ever get that out of a computer. I've only used the computer as a good analogy for a programmed machine that's basically working on a memory dynamic, and that's sort of what's running us. We have lots of memories, lots of stored information, and it is processed by a little CPU or whatever, by the mechanisms of our brain. But that's nothing to do with consciousness now. That's a whole different dynamic. My argument for consciousness is more the idea that we have more than one brain. We have a feeling brain, and then a brain that reacts to the feelings, and that's the interchange going on, and that is created by this idea of senses, and then ultimately this feedback sense, this sixth sense, which is what our memory throws in, what our brain reflexively processes and gurgitates into the flow, our conscious stream flow. But yeah, consciousness is this weird thing. I mean, it's all these senses at once coming into one place and somehow being filtered into what is a coherent thing. But obviously it would have to be coherent, or we wouldn't be functional. We can't just be screaming for no reason in pain and having erroneous pleasure moments and all that stuff. So yeah, through billions of years of evolution, it's been made coherent. But ultimately, the whole idea of sentience might just be an illusion inside of our head. It's not a thing necessarily. Its reality is just the fact that we can perceive it, that we're sensing it, that we have that sixth sense. But it might not have any real. It doesn't have material substance. It only has a reality in that there's some minimum pieces that enable something to have a feeling, and then once that capacity exists, because of the relationship between these reactive brains and the fact that we have to survive in an environment, that little squeak, that little noise of a feeling has been amplified into something that can motivate us, powerful motivations. But it's really just programming. So it's like a mixture of programs. It's like one programming, and another program reacts to that program, and so forth and so on. But it's all programming in the end anyway. No free will. Anyway, so moving on. Next subjects were, this sort of related to this because, so Ray of Sunder did this thing on abortion, which was really pretty irritating. And then To Be Serious did a thing on suicide. So then you got these, two weird subjects. It sort of relates to consciousness because it depends on how seriously you take this consciousness thing. There's no magic to life. I've said it before, but we're all just snowflakes, okay? And we're in a snowstorm. So all this uniqueness crap doesn't mean a hell of a lot. There's lots of unique human beings. There's too many fucking unique human beings. And we got to get over ourselves. Our uniqueness is not unique, you see? So that means uniqueness that isn't unique means it's pretty valueless. And that's kind of like, you go out there and shovel a square foot of snow, and there's lots of unique little snowflakes, but you're not giving a shit about their uniqueness. It doesn't mean anything to you. It's just garbage to be shoveled away. And so anyway, this whole romantic notion, that fetuses are something more than a chicken, that you're gonna strangle for your dinner, or a pig that you're gonna torture for a year or two in a pen. No, it's not more than that. It's not. It's just bullshit, and we have to just get over that idea of some horror, some perceived horror in ending the poor little thing's life, when the poor little thing isn't functional. It isn't a human being yet. It isn't conscious. It isn't engaged. It isn't turned on. Okay, it's turned off. It might as well be dead. Okay, its heart beats and its reflexes reflex a little, but it's a fish at best. At best, it's probably less than that, because it's not meant to be functional. It's got a lot of growing to do, and learning, absorbing, to make it coherent. It can't be coherent in the world till it learns a whole lot of stuff. It has to learn up, down, sideways, blue, green, color. It has to learn a ton of stuff before it can really become a coherent consciousness. And so it's just silly to think of it in any other terms. It's just it's all symbolism. It's all an emotional thing. And I've said it before, but we really shouldn't be owned by our emotions. And certainly when we're going to talk to each other as serious human beings and talk about philosophy and the meaning of life and all that shit, we really should be serious and try to help each other get over our emotions, our bullshit, and get to the true values, what means something. And right now people are going to die because of a little bit of this stuff, little tiny bit of this stuff. And then other people are going to waste a whole bunch of that stuff to try to stop somebody from having an abortion. And it's just bullshit. It's just nonsense. It's just stupid. We throw away life all the fucking time. And it's just stupid to create it when you can't guarantee anything. That's the other part of this whole thing. So back to the suicide subject, to be serious, it's this whole woe is me thing. Oh, isn't it awful? Isn't it horrible? Well, no. I mean, if somebody's done, they're done. And the only horror is that they have to leave without saying goodbye. And they can't they can't be civilized about it. They can't just gracefully exit stage left. You're gonna, you force them to do it abruptly and rudely, because you can't deal with it rationally and fairly and respectfully. Instead, you have to always diminish the person by saying, oh, they had a depressive disorder, they had some other syndrome of abnormality, they didn't have sufficient addiction to the, let's root for the home team. They weren't addicted enough to some dumb football game or some other complete bullshit that most people wrap their lives around. And in this one guy's case, it was kind of sad because he was really into athletic crap, and he had a really bad accident. He fell off a cliff and dropped 60 feet and smashed everything to pieces. And so he probably realized that he was not going to fully recover. And his life, he was now without the things he had passion for, and so his life might have lost some value to him, some meaning, some worth, and there's nothing wrong with conceding to that. There's a point where you just say, no, it's just too preposterous. I just read how the poor woman who got her face ripped off by that chimpanzee, she wants hands and face transplants. I don't know if she wants them or her family wants them. I don't know. But the whole thing is quite hideous. It's like, oh, the hospitals isn't equipped to do it. And, so you go to a different hospital, I guess. But regardless, just this whole preposterous, extraordinary means we're going to try to recover this one life, and it'll be recovered in some horrific form. And like I said, somebody's going to die in Haiti right now for $10. Because they don't have $10 worth of something, water, food, something, and medical care, whatever. It's going to be $10 worth of something, and so it's just bullshit. It doesn't make any fucking sense. So all this emotionalism is not the way to run a world. It's not the way for us to define policy or priorities or what we support, what we don't support, and all that crap. And so I'm not going to poop on somebody, okay, if they're going to have some problem with, Rhea Sunder's got some sort of issues with abortion, her personal issues. She's pro-choice, so it's not a big deal. It's not like she's politically advocating something. But just the whole idea of going on for, 8 or 10 minutes on, like it's some kind of big deal. Like somehow we should be, we should pause and be scared or mystified, or our consciousness should somehow be offended by the notion of it, when the only thing that's bad about it is the physical spectacle of it, the ugliness of its aesthetics. It's aesthetically unpleasant, but philosophically, as a real value, as something that means something, it means nothing compared to all the other crap we routinely put up with. So it's just rather, it's a hypocrisy. It's a human egocentric way of looking at the universe. And it's also just hugely irresponsible anyway, this whole giving life thing, as if it's the same as, like it's an automatic good. It's just a pile of crap. Imposing life, in my opinion, is no better than deciding you have the right to impose death. They're both decisions that should only be done rationally. I mean, for very good cause, very good reason. It shouldn't be something you just sit there and say, I want